Information Technology Podcast. I'm here with my hosts, Mike from Build Vision and Andrew from Join. I'm Luigi from Provision. Today, we're joined by Carly from Hardline. Carly, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be on.
Amazing. So Mike had created a controversial post on LinkedIn, which is somewhat unrelated to this, but has led to you being on this podcast. And I want to pass it off to Mike to provide the context for our listeners. Mike.
Yeah. So I guess this week made a fun post about the software layer going to zero in construction and how people bullish on people, bearish on software. There's a couple of reasons why we definitely dive into this, but the zoom out lens of this is like as software gets commoditized across this layer and everyone has access to the same tools, the same AI agents, where can value be provided for a contractor? And that value is the people that they have.
hmm
So Carly's co-founder actually reached out and wanted to chat about this in the podcast. Would love to hear a little bit how you all are thinking about this, your background, and what you're excited about and how you're seeing this in the space.
Yeah, a lot of that post is kind of a good way of, I guess, summing up why we're starting Hardline is like a lot of the technology out there is built for people in the office, which we need software in the office. We need people to, make their jobs easier to estimate, create estimates, takeoffs and all that stuff. But as far as like the people in the field and like the knowledge that they carry that they're taking away after the job's done, I think that that's the software that really isn't hitting right now. And it's not like making their lives easier. So people are kind of, I guess, like they think that they're making their lives easier, but they're not. And like people on the field aren't getting value out of it. Yeah, I think that with the tools in the field, if they aren't bending to kind of I guess, like being personalized, it's not going to be, giving them any benefit. So I think it's really about the ability to be flexible.
So for you all, like, what does that benefit mean?
Yeah, I think like what we're building with Hardline is passive collection of data and data that's never been collected, but yet it has so much rich information, which is conversations over the phone and on site. All those little nuances with decision making, the quick, changes, they've never been documented. And if we can add that context to the I guess source of truth, which everyone likes to like talk about their source of truth being their like project management system or the brain of the project. Those are like the final pieces of data that can, I guess, create a memory of the project. So
What?
And then when you say memory, like obviously I remember 10 years ago in New York City, like there was a company trying to sell like trackers on employees where they could track when they like came on and off the job and they would like tie to their phone. And there was like a revolt by the unions of New York City
yeah.
because the union was like, you're not tracking me. How
hmm
has that conversation gone? Has that changed or is that still like a very challenging conversation because they're kind of following tracking someone, listening when they're not supposed to be listening? Curious
Yeah.
how you think about that.
Yeah, it's a question that we get every time is like, oh, it's like a big brother. Like Hardline's like a big brother kind of always trying to find what I'm doing wrong with my job. But we give the sharing and I guess the user gives access to the data. They're not just automatically giving it to the organization or the company if they don't want. So we've really tried to protect the end user with the ability to decide what to share after a phone call and to try to create that adoption on the field by doing that. There's no other way because otherwise they're going to be like, you're not trying to make my life better. You're trying to make the company watch me more.
Does it mean, Carly, that part of the like objection you have to handle is, hey, I'm worried that my team is making mistakes and I don't want that recorded? Is that an objection? And if so, like, does that mean that people have to up level their own, ability to manage their projects and have productive conversations where nothing can be held against them before they go on Hardline?
Yeah, I think like there's always going to be those companies we get on a call with where they're like, there's a reason why we make phone calls to make quick decisions because we don't want it on record. And like
Mhm.
that's always going to be a thing. You can turn Hardline off during a call at any point. But I think that at the end of the day, if we can help these like superintendents who take 30 to 50 calls a day and trying to, do their daily log at the end of the day, like how are you supposed to remember that?
So you don't need both. Do you need both to opt in? How does it
No. Well,
in
tech
California you do, don't you? Like,
so with Hardline, we actually never record. It's just transcribed and summarized. So the user only gets the summary. So technically you don't have to, but if people are like, worried at any level, they can turn the disclosure on. But
so you don't you don't need every person on site to even install Hardline. You need the super who everybody's calling. He or she is the
yeah.
center of the network. And so it's kind of like how, like, even when Gmail was 20% of like personal email addresses, they had 100% of emails because there was a Gmail address on every thread.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And so what happens with the transcripts? Like, have Hardline transcripts shown up in court yet? Like,
No, that's something that like we have from the beginning talked about how it's like cover your ass. Like you like a client said something, that was the decision that was made. You have proof now, but at the end of the day, we're kind of like we're not trying to make it that. We're not trying to make it so that you can have like documents for court. But we have
but
yeah,
it,
no,
but,
we haven't.
but if you now have this durable record, like, it will show up and discover, like you mentioned New
Yeah.
York, right? Like, there's a prominent project that's in trouble there. Like,
Yeah.
everything is going to end up in discovery. Like, wouldn't
Yeah.
Hardline transcripts end up
Mhm.
discoverable?
Yeah. Yeah, like they absolutely can, and that will show kind of what happened, and that's the reality of it. And it's good for one team, but maybe not good for the other.
Mm. But presumably, it's good for the team that's deciding to install Hardline because they're saying, "Hey, I want to protect
Yeah.
myself."
Yeah, yeah, like there were so many instances when I was working in construction and I would have died to have had Hardline with some of the subs or with the client. Like $150,000 phone call that we always talk about, but really it's like actually like a horrible thing that happened but I get to talk about it every day now, so.
And for those who are like for the people who are going to listen to this podcast, can you give the quick elevator pitch for Hardline,
Yeah.
like the company and the product, and then we can go into some more specific questions.
Yeah, so Hardline is an app for contractors. They download it and it can take notes at the surface. It's a note taker for your phone calls and on site. But underneath it can actually, power their workflows. So get a phone call, discuss an RFI. It then, flags it to the project manager. We created it so that people and contractors can just do their job like they always have, which is take 30 to 40 calls a day. That hasn't changed in the entire time that, construction's been around, and it's always ran on conversations. So we really tried to meet them at the very most upstream place where decisions are made. And the product it's a 5-minute download and get started. You forward your calls and you're ready to, use Hardline.
What you're describing, we've built internally. It's a very different workflow, obviously, because it's not phone based. It's like Google Meet based, and it has been like, without exaggerating, transformative for our business
Yeah.
because any decision, any action, it's logged, it's auditable, and it's now programmatic. Right, I can push it into the right
Mm-hmm.
place.
Mm-hmm.
So I completely agree with. I think it's a fantastic business and idea. What
Wait,
new
you built
workflows?
that? You didn't just buy Gong like the rest of us?
No,
We
well,
argued about this 2 podcasts
yeah,
ago.
we talked about this 3
Sorry,
podcasts.
like one ear and it doesn't like come out or it comes out the other, because I'm like, why would you not just buy this off the shelf?
Because what you can't buy off the shelf, in my opinion, is the enrichment layer. Where sure you get the transcript, okay, but the enrichment layer is what specifically do I care about that I can't just surface with
Gong
RAG.
did that in 2019. You
Well,
get
sure,
tagged
Gong.
words. It filters out
I don't
tagged
know.
words.
I don't know what Gong's enriched, but I'll tell you that like what I've spent on a yearly basis is very, very little. But I get infinite customizability, and my enrichment it's specifically for provision.
Yeah,
Like so,
that's
for
fair.
example, if I'm working on it,
You're not spending a small amount on Gong, but I mean, I'm just gonna second it. This like category, like I tell people, Gong is the most transformative piece of technology we've ever adopted internally.
Mm.
Like it's having all of our customer conversations recorded. Like it transforms the business. Like, you're no longer reliant on people taking notes and carefully carrying information up hierarchies to like have the organization learn something. You don't have to like know to take notes about something going into a meeting. You can retrospectively search.
Yeah.
Like So I
Yeah.
agree with you, but I don't know why you built it.
Are
Don't
they
your engineers have other things to build?
Gong's like $100,000, and like
but
it's
so running a sales team before, and I'm curious how
Engineer.
this if Hardline you got if Hardline's thinking through this is like what Gong was very, very good at outside of structured data was the idea of coaching and proactively coaching your reps. So
Yeah.
like you could handhold them during a conversation. So they could be on a call with a customer and it would like inject, hey, here's how you handle this objection with the customer,
Yeah.
which is fascinating. I know, side note, Gong is a Norwest company, which is one of our investors. So I'm like very
Mm.
pro Gong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But like that entire position is very, very strong because it's this idea of proactivity. And I'm
Yeah.
curious how Hardline's thinking about proactivity. Because like, hey, getting
Yeah.
a call that says the drywall is or the piece of equipment 7 weeks late is useless
Yeah.
if you're expecting the shipment to come in today. Like that call is a terrible call, but how does this shift to proactivity? I'm very like I think there's a lot of things that can unpack there if you are this node of unstructured data because it's on a phone call, not an email.
Yeah, yeah, there's like a few different like I guess at the like non-sexy way of saying it, like features that we're thinking about releasing that are related to that is like you're on a call and the other person asks a question and Hardline can pull up the answer from a previous call while you're on the call. And then, after a call, the scenario you just said, making that call to let the drywallers know that they're, needing to, I don't even know the example you gave, but yeah, like being able to like take the next step after is the entire game changer. You can
Mm.
collect as much data as you want, but if you're not doing anything with it, it's useless.
And maybe this, I don't know if this is too much information. Ask us, you can tell us if it is, but to what degree are you enriching that data? So, like, what is the taxonomy? Is it, hey, potential dispute, decision made? Here is, like, I have to follow up on this, or this is a loose thread. Like, what are those kind of understood site super ideas that you're encoding to the product? And like, how do you expose that to the customer?
Yeah, so we're pretty early on, and we had a conversation about this literally yesterday because there's so many different trades on our app as well. So it's really not just meant for supers, and we don't want them, foreman to get things that a project manager would get flagged. Like we want it to be very personalized. But right now we are really just trying to make it pretty, I guess, out of the box until we learn more. And then companies can add their own like flags if they want. That's like how we're starting with companies doing the customization rather than us.
I see. So a company says, hey, here are the things that we care about. But don't you find
Yeah.
that, and I don't mean disrespect to the companies, that they're not fantastic at knowing the specific names for what they want to accomplish. Like they say, oh, I
Yeah.
want to remember things, but like, what is the thing that you can identify from, 12,000 tokens of transcript? It's like
Yeah.
you probably want to enrich that.
Yeah, well, we do definitely enrich it and make it all construction specific,
Mm,
and we give it, OSHA codes and all that stuff. But I think the customization from the customer is like still a little bit to ask at this point in the game. I don't
I
think
see.
that most people are there, so we kind of are exploring the chat with our assistant to create your customization, and we'll ask it questions in the onboarding.
Right.
Who 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 buys? Do you sell like right like Procore is used in the field but serves the office primarily, right?
Hmm.
And like this is probably one of the structural challenges in delivering value to the field is that it's kind of not for the field.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys is it like does the company customizing it? Is it the office saying like I need to track these 7 things across all of our projects, help us out? Or is it a super or foreman or someone in the
Yeah.
field saying like, hey, these are the things I need to track like in my data? I'm just curious.
It's a lot of supers that are coming to us, and they're the ones that are just overwhelmed right now with trying to manage everything. And I think that obviously the office is buying the product for them, but a lot of the office is kind of skeptical, I think, of field apps and everything. And unless a super's like being a champion, they're not gonna probably budge. That's the experience that I've had in the last like few months, especially.
So obviously you've built the software fairly recently. It's very obviously human first.
Hmm.
Does Hardline believe in a future where it is potentially agent first? Obviously, like agents can embody the site right now. But how did you think about that given that you've, recently built this company?
Yeah, I think there's a world where it's a lot of agents. I don't know if it'll ever be human first because a lot of the things that happen on the field or like in a phone call need a human in the loop. And yeah, I don't know. There's a world where like all these people are tiring and the less experienced may need agent first, I guess, is kind of my take. But for now, I really want it to be human first because that's where like the conversations are giving the context for the agents to do anything. And it's the only way that it will, be successful. But I'm curious your guys' take on where you think the agent versus human is gonna be.
Don't ask Mike.
Why not?
Mike,
Mike, what
Mike,
do you think?
yeah, Mike, what do you think?
So I think humans are the only thing that are going to matter. And I think that's the underlying process that's going to continue to
Mhm.
scale through. And the companies that are able to structure, organize their knowledge in a way that's actionable for agents to leverage are going to be the most successful. So the humans on the job site can do what they need to do. We
Yeah.
are so far from a world of some LLM telling you how to build a project. It's the
Yeah.
people in the field that are going to be able to do that. And then it's the training of those people to get to that field. Because, yes, there is a 60-year-old superintendent at Turner Construction that has worked on 12 football stadiums in his career.
Yeah.
Bringing someone in that's 22 years old to work on a football stadium that doesn't know what they're doing needs to spend 10 years understanding how a football stadium comes together. And that
Yeah.
He should
transition.
probably just quit and go sell construction software, honestly.
Yeah.
But so what, again, I know I'm a fanboy of Turner. What Turner does very, very well is Turner does Turner Boot Camp, where they bring all of their all the new hires together. They go spend 2 weeks in Denver and they go like train them to make them proud to be part of Turner. And that's why a lot of companies hire from Turner because they structure and educate their employees very, very well. And
Mm,
you can see it on the scoreboard. They are by far the largest general contractor in the country. Like,
yep.
if you're looking for measurements of success, Turner's scoreboard is they're the, Argentina or whoever you want to say is the number one world in the team right now for the World Cup. And there's
Y-
something behind that. It's not
mhm.
technology, it's how they train people. And they spend a lot of money training people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that whole research paper that came out about the software productivity in construction versus the rest of the, world and how it's gone down as
I think it's a mood. So no one, people make this comparison. I know this is going to go on a rant. The Empire State
I
Building
love it.
versus World Trade Center 1, and World Trade Center 1 took 10 years to build. World Trade Center and Empire State Building took 18 months. There
Yeah.
is nobody in the New York City office market space right now that is trying to move into the Empire State Building over World Trade Center 1.
Yeah.
The
Definitely not
cost per
that.
square foot, the cost per square foot for World Trade Center 1 in Lower Manhattan is probably 2 to 3x what the Empire State Building is. And there's reasons for that. Like,
It does air
it's
Yeah.
conditioning.
structurally different. It's more complicated. The system is more complicated. I don't know, that's a rant. Like the new JP Morgan HQ that they just built. There's
Yeah.
like customization per office space. So if you're sitting in one office and you want the temperature to be 67 degrees with a 20%
So
humidity
insane.
rate, you can do that. You can't do that in the Empire State Building. Yeah, of course it's going to take longer to build that complex system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Construction is the
I
third most
just
complex. That's not my position I'll take. That's the hard line. That the construction is the third most complicated thing to do in the world. First is going to space. Second is building which is silicon chips
Chips.
with
Right.
AF, and then third is construction.
This list has changed, and we have a recording of
Yeah,
it. I
it used to
think
be
construction
Is the
number
other
is
way?
one.
two.
Whatever.
Used to be number
But
one.
Space has somehow gone on top.
I don't know.
As one of
I've
my
been watching.
professors used to say, we landed on the moon with two significant figures of precision. Like, I don't know.
I've been watching For
yeah,
All Mankind on Apple TV, and now they're going and putting the moon base on the
thing.
moon. It gets
Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Sometimes I'm like, I don't believe that people have gone to space because of like some of the like glitches that happen with my like computer or like I'm like, how can we put people to space but I get trash Wi-Fi? But I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Andrew, what do you think? Agent first, human first?
It's interesting to disagree about a lot of things re AI, but I would agree that like the humans are the only ones that matter. I
Hmm.
don't know that it's simply because of their ability to install work. on site. Like what is an agent? Like it's a piece of software that's running and like calls other pieces of software potentially in the same way that like a script that calls an API is a really dumb agent. And yeah, over time, actually it would be interesting to think about how like the use of compute has scaled, but like it's probably up and to the right. We're probably running more and more software. And so yeah, over time you probably have more and more integration and you have computers doing more and more. I don't know that an application or a system of record, like I think you might, as a particular vendor, forego the application layer and say, hey, we're gonna build for other systems to consume it, right? Like Oracle has a big database layer, right? Like Google Cloud doesn't have like an app, or to the best of my knowledge, they don't, right? Like they provide certain layers of a technology stack. And it's like, hey, we don't do it on top of that. If you want an application, you have to go build the application, but we provide an SDK for manipulating 3D data and we're really good at it. But like you're on your fucking own for the application layer. And companies might do that, but I don't know that the application layer goes away because I think it does a few things. Like one, it enforces consistency
Hmm.
between people. And individuals might not like that. I fucking hate filling out
Yeah.
like my expense reports. I hate it more than anything else. And besides logging in, those are the two things I hate the most in the world right now, are filling out expense
You,
reports and logging
you need
into
to move
software.
over to Ramp. Let me tell you, sponsored by Ramp. You should use Ramp. You don't have to fill out an expense report. It all automatically does it for you. If you're still filling out expense reports, man, we got to get you to the
Dude, I
2026.
have the thing we use promises
So,
that as well, but it
I
rejects
don't know what that
every
even
receipt I
means. Use
forward
Ramp.
it. Yeah, all right.
Let's
Is
get
there
on
a
topic
referral
here.
code?
Okay, so like there's a burden on the user. It enforces consistency, but then it also presents information in a way that like people understand, right? Like it organizes it in a way that people can take it in, and that the UI layer that's been tuned around that is like tuned around people. Like it's a fundamentally human thing how you present
Hmm.
information and people understand it. And like the humans, like we're not changing that quickly. And so I don't know that like humans are going to want to interact with whatever's inside of Procore. They're going to want to see and understand the change order log. And so you're going to have an application like that does it. That's my read. I don't know. I don't even know if I answered the question.
Yeah, I think you did. Carly, when you think about, let's say, like the direction of the product, right now it sounds like you feed multiple project management systems, Procore, Autodesk, FieldWire.
Hmm.
Is this the product? I think like Elena had said the other day, you have a big vision. It doesn't necessarily mean a bigger product. At least that's what I heard her say. Does that mean, hey, like this is actually, we think this is table stakes going forward. We scale everywhere, and that's the vision that we're marching towards? Or is the vision actually this is a great wedge for something bigger, and this is step one to the ultimate product vision, which is X?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both, but we are absolutely not trying to be a project management system. We're wanting to be an application that collects data, is device agnostic, and can be so intelligent to the point where people never have to log into Procore or Autodesk on the field and can just know that that's the forms are being filled out correctly for their, project manager in the office. It is really about just taking supers off their laptop and keeping them in the field and using voice to do that. And moving forward, it's just about getting smarter of how to author the workflows downstream from the, phone call, flagging things from phone calls, flagging things from walkthroughs or site walkthroughs, and not trying to, create a crazy internal dashboard for supers to go fill out. Yeah, hopefully that answered your question.
That makes sense to me. If someone like Procore decides to, let's say, integrate with your phone, I believe they have an app. What would be the performance delta between them and Hardline?
The performance delta.
Yeah, like what can they, like what will take them time to figure out that Hardline's figured out?
Mm,
which is not as easy as just saying like, okay, yeah, okay, Procore now, we're just going to record your calls. And,
right. Got it. Well, we have it is super, super difficult to build a telephony company, and creating that has been it's pretty much been hell, but in a good way, it's created a short moat for us because of how difficult it is to get into people's phone calls. I don't think that Procore would, try to tackle that. And if they do, there is a lot of that conversational data that we're already, building and collecting. So I think that I don't believe that they would try to build it, but if they do, hopefully they have some really smart engineers, which I'm sure they do, maybe.
So are you all building like your own? So you're not like leveraging like 11 Labs or a Whispers flow. You're doing like your own voice model or what did you call it? A tele.
Telecommunication. So that's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like phone call infrastructure, which is just like the oldest infrastructure of all time. Like it's just so hard to get into phone calls. And so, yeah, we're not like, yeah, we're not using like a model that's on the market. We basically power people's phone systems. That's like how it's like at the surface level, we can be a construction company's phone system.
does that mean like, sorry, what does that mean practically? Does that mean like, hey, you could buy a phone plan from Hardline? We have bandwidth allocated to us, and okay, now you like we can make all the
Yeah.
calls on Hardline.
Yeah, and like people wouldn't even know that they don't even need the app downloaded. They can just like have Hardline as a phone number on their,
So like the like sales dialers, like we have all these apps that I think we stopped using them because they added like half a second of lag when we started calls. Like our sales team have like virtual phone numbers they can call through where it automatically logs it in HubSpot,
yeah,
our CRM.
yeah.
That's
That's
interesting.
like that's kind of like that was almost our proof of concept, but now we're moving to, okay, this is like a phone plan so that you actually don't even need to use Verizon ever again if you want to just buy a hardline plan. There won't be a lag. You answer and make phone calls in your iPhone or Android like you always would. It's not like a virtual VoIP. Because you can make calls through like Zoom or Google Meets, but it's like a designated phone number with a cellular plan, if
How is this?
that.
Is this like WhatsApp? Is it like then it's like fast forward a little bit and it's multimodal and people are like sending texts and snapping photos and doing video as well as calls or like
Yeah, I think like WhatsApp again is like like a VoIP is what it's called, where you can make phone calls over Wi-Fi or if you have data. But if you only have cellular data, or sorry, if you don't have either of those, you can still use Hardline. So it's like we're their Verizon or we're their AT&T, and WhatsApp only works if you have Wi-Fi or LTE or a 5G. But if you make a call without those two things on Verizon, it's completely fine.
So when people purchase Hardline, are they purchasing a new kind of cell plan? Are they then foregoing their traditional cell plans, or is this in addition to?
It's in addition to, and there's two ways that you can set up Hardline. It's either you continue to use your phone number, so nothing changes. You just turn Hardline on at the beginning of the day. You receive calls like you always would. It would just go through Hardline. And then the other one is powering their phone system, which is you get a new phone number, you separate work from personal life, and it's just another phone number people call.
Why was that necessary to do to get like, was that a precondition for the user experience that you wanted? Because like you could, like on my iPhone, for example, I can always just hit record, obviously, but
Yeah.
that's very active. I have to know to do that. Is this because
Mhm.
you thought the winning UX was like, it has to be passive?
Yeah, I think that for field adoption, it has to almost be like 2 seconds to learn, and they don't have to do anything but turn it on. And the idea of like the use your own phone number or your current phone number was a good way to be like, you don't have to do anything but turn it on. Because so many people in construction have lived on their phone number for like 30 years and don't want to change their phone number. And I totally get that. We've just kind of explored the other idea of getting work phone numbers for your crew or whatever, because a lot of people have asked for that. But yeah, the adoption in the field, it's the hardest thing to get, and if you can't crack it, it's like you're not going to be successful. So we've really tried to explore every option to make it as seamless as possible.
Okay, I feel like my mind has been opened, and it's like if we fast forward 5 years or whatever, pick some period of time, is it that everybody uses Hardline instead of WhatsApp? Is that the like way to think about this?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
you can definitely think about it in that way. Yeah. Like we
So it's
we
like
will
all the
explore
site
messaging.
communication runs through Hardline, and so it gets automatically filed into whatever system people need
Mhm.
it to be filed into. Okay.
Mhm.
What do you think about the reality capture companies then? Like how does like there's a few of them have articulated this where it's like, yeah, look, you can have people like wandering around with clipboards or iPads or phones or whatever, like filling out forms for site observations, or you can just record the entire site every period of time and potentially automate the analysis, but also like retrospectively go in and look at things as necessary. Like
Yeah.
how does like the 3D capture or just like site capture generally like interact with Hardline? Like where does that go?
Yeah, so with our on-site capture, right now it's you can do video or a voice note where you just walk through, take photos and it's like a AI note taker, but very specific to construction. As far as the like constantly recording or like always people have asked, is Hardline always on the site? And I don't think that'll ever fly with a lot of, well, maybe it will with some people, but the idea of like constantly recording, I don't think is ever going to be a thing for these guys. It'll be too early. But I do believe that reality capture is like it is one of the coolest things. I love open space. I love what they're doing. I think that they've really created a product that anyone who gets on, I think is so impressed. I haven't talked to somebody who isn't absolutely obsessed with open space. So
Yeah,
So does that mean like
Cleveland,
five
we had
years
them
from
on last week.
now, like oh sorry, does that mean 5 years from now, like Hardline also has reality cap? Like you've bought open space or you've built like because I mean it's like site. It's the
yeah,
truth of the site, right?
I
Like it
think,
there's this common
yeah.
thread and funneling that into these like offsite systems of record.
Yeah, I think like there's like always going to be probably a feature that overlaps with somebody, but we are building for more of the small to mid-sized market, and open space is like for those large projects. And so there are components of our app that's going to be reality capture, but I don't think that we're going to, knock out open space. They're doing an amazing job, and I think that their product is built for that size of a project, and we're not building for that right now.
Why
But
that segmentation? Like, why small and medium size?
I think for the field, a lot of software isn't built for that segment, and yet it's like 99% of the industry is small to medium sized builders.
Logo,
And
but not by volume.
yeah, yeah, I think it's like that. That's very true. Where I grew up, it was in that segment. I experienced it so heavily that I was like trying to get, we had Procore for a little bit, and I was like, this isn't going to work for our stage. We tried other platforms. And so the segment that, Hardline works for the best is when people are just like down to commit today and start. And like they want a solution right then and there. And I think that they're just a little bit neglected though.
I mean, one of the things I've heard from those construction technology like founders who have gone before me is just the before all of us like has been the challenge of distribution and support in the small and medium sized
Hmm.
end of the market. Like you have to how do you reach? I mean, maybe you've cracked it, but like how do you reach like the superintendents working at these small companies? Like how do you support them? Yeah.
Yeah, I think distribution is like how you win, obviously, in this segment. So making the barrier to onboarding super, super low. There's a few companies that have cracked it. Company Cam, obviously, is just like absolutely taken over that space.
What was their
But
secret? Did you figure out how to copy it? Can we copy it?
we're just, yeah,
What did they do?
I'll let you know when I figure that one out. I think that it's so crazy that they started as like a folder for photos. And I think they found a very like big problem that is like applicable for all the trades, all the, home builders, and made a solution that can cater to everyone I think that that was the way they cracked it. And it's also just like so crazily like simple that anyone can understand what they're doing. And so I think it's the language around your product, a lot of it. But yeah, we have not cracked the company cam secret, but hopefully one day we will.
Holy shit. I just pulled up the App Store, company cam, 28,000 reviews on the Apple
Yeah.
Store, full 5 stars. Like,
No, it's crazy.
that's a monster.
I want to say they're worth $1 billion or something. I believe it's like 1 million or 2 billion. So crazy.
Yeah, it seems it's one of those things that doesn't seem like a fantastic solution until you live it and you realize like,
Yeah.
okay, even getting my photos for the site is
Yeah.
really challenging. And that was kind of
Yeah.
the inspiration of my earlier question around whether this is like a wedge or like the kind of like the downstream product. But
Yeah. Yeah. It's a bit of both, but
mhm.
yeah, company cam's
on on
crazy.
on Mike's earlier question around coaching, for example, once a company has all of this data, which has now been structured and it's indexable and searchable, what's your vision of the jobs that can be done? Like what's unlocked now that we have that information? Like if you imagine
Yeah.
GC post hardline at our most mature stage, what will they be able to do that they can't do today?
Yeah, they can get a lot of insights from subs who, sorry, there's like some like crazy horn outside. I feel like getting the insights from decisions that turn into certain things, nuances with subcontractors who, are laid more often and not communicating. I think there's a lot of things that people can do with the data that they've never had before. My family, they own a GC up in Canada, and my dad is taking 100 calls a day. I'm not even kidding. And he uses Hardline, and my brother has access to those phone calls or the summaries, and it's changed their business completely because he has the inside scoop, which it works for certain people. And I think that it's going to take time to educate people how they can use that data.
Mhm. Do you think it reduces the kind of key person risk in a construction company? Like, okay, let's say your father stopped working.
Yeah.
He had all this information that was previously inaccessible. Does it
hmm
help that? And like, do you see any resistance from people who were those key people to say like, well, I don't want to give away my secret sauce?
Yeah, I think that's like I forget who we were on a call with, but they were like, yeah, well, I give company phones out because I want to keep that data. And we're like, what data do you have on those phones right now? Besides like some text to some subcontractors maybe. And so having the summaries from all their calls or having that already have been uploaded to their project management system, it's reducing key person risk while the job is happening, if that makes sense, because they're collecting more data and putting it in the systems of record. Yeah, I think that's like a huge thing because there's a lot of superintendents that leave halfway through a project and take it all with their brain.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it makes a lot of sense for like the head office to mandate, no, you have to use hardline because it's a
hmm
hedge against, some human issue that like
Yeah.
invariably does happen on a job.
hmm hmm
Yeah, very cool. Mike, Andrew, any other questions for Carly before we go into rapid fire
Let's do
question
rapid
round?
fire. Sorry, Mike. Whatever you got.
The
Nothing on
highlight of
my.
Andrew's
I'd
week.
have a hard stop at the top of the hour, but I'll.
Say it
Let's go
again.
rapid fire. Sorry, I got a hard stop at the top of the hour, but let's do rapid fire.
Okay, you're okay with this, Carly? There will be very
Yeah.
they're,
Yeah.
they're
Does
good questions.
everyone answer?
What's that?
Is it just me?
It's just you.
Oh God.
You don't have to do it. It's okay
No,
if you don't want to.
no, I'm down.
You're down? Okay, cool. Which GC do you admire the most?
Haskell.
Interesting. Can you tell us why?
They're super good at communicating and they're very open, but they don't commit to, like in the construction tech industry, they don't commit to something unless they bring people from the field into the conversation. And I really respect that.
Okay, next question. What's harder, selling to construction or getting the teams to adopt the product?
Selling to construction.
What incumbent in product management would you most want to partner with?
I think honestly, open space.
Shout out to Jivan if he's listening. Which construction technology company do you, apart from open space, do you like the most? And like, you don't have to mention us, obviously. Someone else.
That's not a rapid fire for me, but I'll go
Okay.
with Constructible.
Yeah, I
They're
love
yeah,
Constructible.
yeah. I think they're really cool.
We had Molly and Emma on, and they're building like replicating Procore is very hard.
Yeah, and they're doing a really good job. They're cool.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. Okay, we have to drop one of the 3 items on a job site. The site super's memory, texts or calls. Which one goes?
Text.
Okay, long calls in memory.
Yeah, with
Okay, and
Hardline.
then yeah, that's right. And then last question: what do you think construction tech will look like 5 years from now? I know, a very broad question, but what do you think construction tech companies coming to market 5 years from now will look like?
Like low to barely any UI.
Mm,
Like
yeah,
very
that does.
light UI.
Yeah, I think so too. Mostly fading into the background.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Mike, Andrew, any final questions for Carly?
Thank you so much for the time, Carly. I really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you so much. Thanks for waking up
Thank
early.
you guys. That was awesome.
Yeah, very fun. Thank you so much, Carly. We're going to end the stream now. Thanks, everyone.